For this final demo, we are going to use all three LEDs, but instead of just merely setting all of the brightness values to 255, we're going to increase and decrease the values just like we did at the tail end of the last set of demos. So we're going to need three different brightness variables, similar to the last time, and we'll initialize the red one to 255. We'll set up a change variable for red as well, and set that to 5. We'll now throw in a brightness variable for blue, and initialize this one to 0. It will need its own change variable too. And then finally, we'll set up a green brightness variable and initialize it to 127. It also will need its own change variable, and we'll set that to 5 too. Now I could have initialized the variables a little differently to minimize lines of code, but I wanted to group each change variable with its associated brightness variable. So now we have three different brightness variables, where the red will be fully on to start with, the blue will be off, and the green will be at a halfway point. Now we're going to introduce the every function again that we saw in the last set of demos. And we'll go ahead and use 1/10 of a second, as we saw that worked better in the last fade demo. And then we'll throw in our function of the callback variety right here. Let's go down to the bottom of our work function here and bring these brightness settings up. We'll place those right inside the function, and then we'll remove the values that we initially set and replace them with the variables here. So we'll set the green brightness, then the blue brightness, and then we'll need to throw in one for the red LED as well. And boom, okay. So now we need to go ahead and change the brightness variables again, just like we did in the last set of demos. So we'll increment the red brightness variable based on its change. We'll increment the blue brightness based on its change variable. And then finally, we'll increment the green brightness based on its change. And then we'll go ahead and throw in our threshold checks here. So we'll check the red brightness if it's less than 0 or greater than 255. Which, remember, that is the range of values for the brightness function. And if it's outside of that threshold, we'll swap the red change to a negative of what it was. So positive becomes a -5 becomes a +5. And we'll copy this and make the same changes for the blue and green brightness variables as well. All right, change red brightness to blue brightness, change red change to blue change. We'll go down here and clean up this one real quick, make this green brightness, and green change again, and green brightness. Alright, that wraps up the code for this demo, so let's switch back on over to PowerShell here and see what kind of rainbowy goodness we get out of this. Alright, we'll kick this off. Alright, as this kicks off, I'll go ahead and stick my hand on over top of this again. And you can see the different colors reflecting off my skin, so that way you don't have to look at that bright glowing blob, though it's kind of hard to miss by looking at that small little camera screen there. But you can just see this LED cycle through the different colors as it goes over that every loop and changes the brightness values of each of the RGB pins. So that's essentially it for this demo. I just wanted to cycle through all the various colors to give you an idea of the potential of this LED, as well as how easy it is to create those colors.